A young Tasmanian pilot has made a name for himself across the Tasman, beating the odds to overtake New Zealand's top aerobatics pilot in a flying competition. Will Bignell's achievement was all the more impressive given he had only 20 hours aerobatics experience. Kylie Rowlands caught up with him before his sojourn to New Zealand.
Those magnificent men in their flying machines, they go up to the up, they go down to the down, they entangle the ladies.
As a child, Will Bignell was a contradiction. He was afraid of heights, but happiest when he was up in a plane. It was in his blood. His grandfather was a Lancaster pilot in World War II and his father a glider pilot.
Flying's not something that's genetic as such, it's more something that I grew up with and was exposed to and began to fall in love with. I think my first flight was when I was 2 in the back seat of a glider with Dad, and I used to always hang about up there every weekend trying to get the last flight of the day.
Bignell became a glider pilot before training in general aviation. In between working on a PhD in sheep genetics and on the family farm, he's now dabbling in aerobatics. He practices under the watchful eye of his mentor Stan Tilley, who's well known in Tasmanian skies.
You're looking good up there anyway. I'm enjoying myself. Good. What it's all about. Hard, full power. Roll.
That has been one of my biggest loves. I used to always hassle Dad to take me up for what we called a Mexican hat, which is a chandelle in the glider, which is really just a sort of a pull-up. You kind of pull up and wing over, back down. I used to love it. And I had a Matchbox Pit Special, which is a little biplane. I've just always dreamed of it, always loved it.
With less than a day's accumulated aerobatics experience, the 25-year-old headed to Timaru in New Zealand last week to compete in the Trans-Tasman Wings Trophy. Bignell was the only Australian in the aerobatics division. He then tested his skills against the big guns in the New Zealand National Championships and was very modest about his chances.
That's a pretty big step for a bloke with 20 hours aerobatics experience going against the top pilot in New Zealand. I'm not going to win. I'm not going over there with the outset mind. I've got enough skill to win. I'm going over to really learn some experience and see what it's like flying a competition.
In the lead up to the competition, he was anxious.
Not so much scared of my safety anymore. When I was in my first competition, I had quite a serious emergency in the aircraft during a spin. I had the seat break and I fell forward into the instrument panel in a vertical dive and kind of went down and jammed my body in the controls for a split second and kind of pulled out rather close to the deck, and it shook me up a bit. Fear's a healthy part of it. It's an unusual thing to turn a plane upside down, but yeah, you know, there's a little bit of anxiety in me before thinking about this whole safety issue, but no, I feel very safe doing it.
Bignell's predictions about New Zealand were wrong. He swept the pool, winning the Trans-Tasman Aerobatics competition and pinching 2 titles from the locals in the national contest. But instead of bringing home the trophies, he was given plaques to commemorate his wins.
They don't like to be beaten. I've been there myself and they get a bit twitchy about, what's happening.
The Australian team came a close second overall. Stan Tilley has big hopes for his protégé.
Vertical down, that's good. Hold it and pour the power into for the next manoeuvre. Excellent. He's done really well for the short time that he's been flying aerobatics. I'd like to see him compete in the Australian Federation Championships and 45 up, continue to do well there and go back and beat the New Zealanders again.
For Bignell, it's all about those moments when he can tune out the rest of the world.
And that's what I enjoy, is that minute or two where you zone out and you're just completely focused and it's just you, an aeroplane and a bit of sky to play.
Okay, well we've got you well and truly excited, so we'll see what you get to.
I like to see